Hello, everybody. This is Noel from the Tarda Zone, and I decided, we haven't had a bit of a late night natter in a while, so I said I'd come on. I'm actually in great humour. Manchester United actually got to the semi final of the Europa League after nearly being knocked out. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted, I have to say. How are you all doing? I hope you are all doing well. There's been an epic meltdown in the Doctor Who fandom as well in relation to the Supreme Court ruling in the UK on transgender women, uh, which we're not going to get into on here because, YouTube, is highly, what would I say? They like to censor people, don't they? We've got Shelley in the chat. We've got Super John. So we're just here to have a bit of a natter, bit of a talk. Any topic really goes. So if there's anything that you would like my opinion on, uh, get in the chat there and let me know what you'd like me uh, to give my opinion on. So this is kind of a preempted. This is kind of not a preempted stream. This is kind of off the cuff. So, as I said, it's gonna go where it's gonna go. Hey mate, can only stay for a bit. Back, me back is at me again. The joys. I know. Used to remember when you'd watch me play me FIFA streams. You'd have to leave because of your back. But yeah, you rest up there, buddy, and look after yourself. Um, so yeah, I might as well. Obviously, we are a Doctor Who channel, so I've been informed that uh, what's a what was the name of the site? Um, was a Collider or something has given Lux a 10 out of 10. I think it's them or some other outlet. But apparently, Lux is going to not shy away. They're not going to shy away from the racism of the time. So, again, we're going to be lectured. But are we surprised, really, with uh, this current era of Doctor Who? Of course, RTD, the new companion, Juno Dawson, Mr. TARDIS, all of these other lefties in the Doctor Who fandom are having an absolute meltdown over the Supreme Court. Of course, we didn't expect anything different, did we, from that law? Collider went super chill, says Bobby D. Of course they have. They always do, don't they? Um, but yeah, we're going to be in for a very fascinating Saturday, I've got to say, and can't wait to do my watch along reaction. So come and join me for that. I'm pretty sure there'll be loads of Doctor Who fans out there, or the sellouts, that will have a bit of a nosebleed at me reaction to the episode. Of course, I've received a lot of negative reaction over my first reaction to obviously the Planet of Incels. Oh, sorry, I'll rephrase that. It's actually the Robot Revolution. Wasn't much of a revolution, was it? In fairness, wasn't much of a revolution, but there you go. But yeah, the Robot Revolution um, didn't do as well as all of these people were predicting. And of course, I think with the latest meltdown, this is going to be the final nail in the coffin for Doctor Who, especially with the fact that the showrunner, the companion, and every other moron that's part of this franchise right now is melting down and calling everybody bigots because everybody but them are bigots. You know what I mean? But that's not true. We know who the real bigots actually are. But we won't say anything about that. Right? Shh, keep it to ourselves. Right? it's a lot of projection from that side. But shh, you know, we don't want to upset them, or they'll run into their safe spaces. Also, what was I going to say? As I said, this is just off the cuff. So if anybody wants to ask me out, go ahead, because I just wanted to come on maybe for a half hour, 45 minutes, and just have a bit of a bit of a chat, really. So I'm kind of looking on X there now to see if there's anything that pops up that I can bring your attention to. Let me see. Where was it? There was something I actually wanted. Where is it? Oh, my phone is acting ridiculous. After getting this new update, and the phone's running very, very slow. And oh yeah, by the way, the new companion, what's her name, Verada, shit too, has doubled down on their first post. I can't read that on YouTube, to be honest with you, because as I said, YouTube will censor me. I will put up the posts, I can do that, but I won't be able to make any comment in relation to the meltdown, because as I said, YouTube is like every other platform nowadays, is oversensitive. All this bullying you get online, do you block them straight away? Well, the one particular person, I did eventually block them, but most of the people that do send me abuse are a consequence to the person that's mounting online about me and spreading falsehoods and lies. So I have to be, I actually went and did something about that tonight. Went to for anybody, it's the Gardaí, but the Irish police. I went to them today to make a complaint. So, that person now has done their own stream, because they don't learn. And apparently 50 diss tracks I've done or something is like, whatever they're saying it is. But the bottom line is that those tracks, are for fun, number one. But number two, they're not in no way threatening this person. And, musicians out there do diss tracks all the time. So, I don't see anything wrong with it, and neither does anybody else. To be quite honest, only the person that's been attacking me since last August, as you know. I don't want to say too much, because they'll do about 50 fucking videos. Like, they complained about me doing videos, but then if I say something, they'll end up doing their own videos. So I have to be careful. What is with the BBC in the UK that has do with Doctor Who? What is it with the BBC in the UK that has to do with Doctor Who? In relation to what? Look, if you want me personal opinion on the second episode or the second season as a whole, I think it's just going to be as bad as season one. If not, it's probably going to be worse, because these people don't seem to understand that everybody is sick of the agenda. Everybody is sick of the lectures, especially people that are white. They're sick of being told that they're horrible bigots and every other words that comes out of their mouth. And it has turned a lot of people away from Doctor Who, so much so actually Actually, that is one thing I wanted to bring up. So, as you know, you ourselves, they released the first episode, The Planet of Incels, on BBC iPlayer at 8 a.m. Now, from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m., okay, that's the time frame that they count the views, right? Now, as I've shown you on this channel, because I always show receipts, you have to be, if it's a more than a 30-minute program, if you watch for 1 minute, that counts as a view. Okay, it counts as a view 1 minute. Okay, so from the time it aired at 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, it added 91,000 views to the overnights. 91,000 views, folks. So in reality, when the episode went out live on BBC One, it was under 2 million. And then the 91,000 views then added on to that, bumped it up to the 2 million. So that's how bad it actually was. So this isn't a success in any terms. Also, the people that talk about the ratings on the other side keep moving the goalposts, because under Jodie Whittaker, the overnights meant something, right? They were telling us, oh no, you're wrong, the overnights mean something, the overnight, blah, blah, blah. Now they've moved the goalposts and they're saying, no, the overnights don't mean that. But the reality is that the overnights are still important. No matter what people say out there, that is a fact, right? And that's where it'll be judged. Also, Bobby D, I seen him in the chat there. He'd be able to confirm this. Doctor Who hasn't trended on any the platforms, and also hasn't gotten into the top 10 of any charts. Okay, and by the way, for people out there saying wait for the Disney Plus ratings, there is no ratings for Doctor Who with Disney Plus. Again, I've showed you receipts of that. I've done a video. It's a fact. You won't get ratings for Doctor Who on Disney Plus. So anybody out there waiting for ratings for Doctor Who ain't getting ratings for Doctor Who. And again, I would like to make the point that if this show was actually really successful on Disney Plus, they'd be screaming from the rooftops about it. But they're not. When they've had a hit, they've made a big deal out of it, because they don't get many hits nowadays, Disney. Right? So when they do actually get a hit, they scream from the rooftops. Remember when Mandalorian season 1 came out? That was a huge success, and they couldn't stop talking about it. They're not talking about Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who's not successful, like they're all saying. And I think with the latest stuff that's gone on, just these past couple of days, with the decision with the courts and the meltdown, I think that's going to affect who's going to continue to watch Doctor Who now moving forward, because these people are absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. RTD is disgusting. Juno Dawson is disgusting. And that new companion is an absolute disgrace to every single companion that came before. Even what's her face wasn't as bad as her. The one that played Yasmin Khan. See, I don't even remember her name, because that companion was just, but not even as bad. And I think it's going to affect who watches now moving forward. And you know what? We tried to warn fans for years that Doctor Who needed to be respected and Doctor Who needed to be done properly. And, they haven't listened. So, as I say, they reap what they sow. BBC lowered their standards. Well, not only BBC, though. I think Doctor Who fans as well, the ones that are still hung around, have lowered their standards. And the one thing that I never done is lower my standards. And I'm quite proud of that, actually. because, if you're going to give us Doctor Who, then I think it should be the best version that you can give us. And if you're concentrating on DEI hires, and you're concentrating on agenda, and you're concentrating on ideology, then you're not going to give us what we expect. And I do believe that a lot of people in the Doctor Who fandom have lowered their standards. Some have lowered their standards for the Golden Goose, to be in with the production team and to get their little freebies and their premieres and all of that. And then you've got others in the fandom that, are the torchbearers for this era, that will not criticize, even though they know that it's bad. They will always try to see the positive, or try to spin a positive. There is nothing positive about this season of Doctor Who. There was nothing positive about the first season of Doctor Who, and it's not going to be a success under RTD, and it's not a success. That's the bottom line. Now, I've always said 8 million would be, overnights for me, would be considered a success. But having thought about it again, I would say right now, in the current climate of TV, 4 or 5 million would probably be considered a success with Doctor Who. But they can't even get that, and they won't get that under this current regime. This show has to go back to basics. And, I do believe that BBC wanted to do right by it. It's RTD that has thrown the spanner in the works. Now, will BBC have the courage to move forward by themselves, or will they go and seek someone else if Disney is gone? Because, of course, as we all know, no decision will be made on the future of Doctor Who until after Series 2 airs. And with RTD recently talking about a hiatus or a pause, his latest comments have been taken out of context by a lot of people out there. But if you actually read his latest comments, he actually said if they get a chance to move forward. So he's still talking as if the show is going to either go on hiatus or is going to take a break. But either way, it's not looking good for Doctor Who. Let's see what we've got here. Noel, have you ever been to Wales? My holiday will be likely there. I have, Daniel. I have, believe it or not. I was in Pwllheli. Now, I was, it took a few years. I reckon I was, do you know when I went? When Spice Girls, the movie, was out. So what year was that? Hold on. I'll tell you now exactly. Spice Girls, the movie. Hold on. Spice Girls, the movie, please. Right, here we go. When did that movie... Why did I say please as if I'm talking to Spice Girls, the movie? Release date. So it came out in 1997. So I was, what? 9. So I was 18, was I? Something like that. Yeah, I went to Pwllheli, we did. And I remember because it came out in December, and we actually went to Pwllheli for Christmas with me auntie. My uncle couldn't go. My uncle was very sick, and they had a spare ticket, boat ticket. So I ended up going instead of my uncle. It was my first time on a ferry, and it'll be my fucking last time because on the way over and on the way back, we got caught in a storm on the way back, and I'm terrified of the ocean. I actually hate ships. So I was in panic mode, man. But once we were safely in Wales, we just had a good time. But because it was the winter, obviously Pwllheli is a holiday destination. But during December, there wasn't much going on. So I was old enough to drink, so we were drinking and having a laugh and playing snooker, pool, whatever was available for us to do, we did. And of course, we went to the cinema because my cousin wanted to go and see Spice Girls, the movie. So that's what we did. Ted is out here with me. Hey, Ted. I'll be bringing him out. You can leave him out here with me. I'll bring him in because I'm just gonna stream for another 20 odd minutes or whatever. You all right, buddy? I'll be bringing Ted out. The message won't stop the fourth episode proved. This is Bobby. Not watched any Doctor Who since Tennant's Christmas special. Well, you've saved yourself, Holden. You've saved yourself. I have a gut feeling that Doctor Who will make it out with the cartoon. Will make out with the cartoon villain, says Shelley. Wouldn't be surprised. Cinnamon says, "Well, hello there. I heard Disney or Amazon will buy it to gain over." Yeah, I have heard this. Right. Let me talk about that for a second. There's too many moving parts, okay, involved in. You can't just simply buy Doctor Who, okay? Disney can't just simply buy Doctor Who. They'd have to negotiate with the estates as well. There's too many moving parts. So, what I would suggest is that someone else come in, distribution wise. I don't see Disney, personally speaking, and this is just my own personal opinion. This is not me saying fact or anything like this, but in my own personal opinion, I don't think Disney will get their hands on Doctor Who. Why would BBC give away one of their best IPs? Now, it mightn't be doing well right now, but it is considered. They even say it themselves. It's their top 5. It's in their top 5 of IPs that they have. So why would they get rid of one of their golden gooses and sell it to Disney for a quick buck? I don't see that happening. And I say George Lucas himself, in relation to Star Wars, actually regrets selling Star Wars to Disney, because look what they've done with Star Wars. They've absolutely destroyed it. Super John says the overnights matter. It shows the interest status on the show right now, and it's not good. I agree with you. I agree. And but their rhetoric is, it's an old-fashioned measurement now. We've got to move away from that. But you've read them saying that a few years ago when Jodie was the Doctor. See, you can't keep moving the goalposts every time to suit you our narrative, right? The bottom line is that overnights are still important. And they are. Now, listen, Doctor Who is not the only show that's doing pretty bad. TV across the board, right, is doing pretty bad. But they like to blame, TV habits have changed and all of this other stuff. It's not. It's because the quality. You look across the board, right, whether it's movies, whether it's drama, whether it's comedy, the quality has dropped over the years. So if the quality drops, then, of course, people that tune in to watch is going to drop. I can guarantee you that if they put out a quality product, it's going to get the ratings. And I want to prove that point by saying shows like Call the Midwife, shows like Line of Duty, and then that SAS show that they've had recently on Peaky Blinders, and all of these shows were getting millions of views because they were very well written. And I don't buy into this whole narrative that TV habits have changed. It's not. That wouldn't be what I would say is the issue here. I would say it's the quality of programming across the board. For the time, it hasn't trended on Flick Patrol, says Bobby, and that's Bobby backing me up about the trends and the lists. It hasn't been trending, and it isn't on any list. Holden says, be better off dropping the whole series and binge watch it. But like I said, I'm not watching that garbage. Do you know what? Disney should have cut their losses and actually made sure that it was dropped all in one, like Netflix used to do. because I think this season's going to be a complete and utter disaster in the ratings. Who the hell watches TV at 8 a.m. on a Saturday? Most folk are catching up on sleep. In fairness, Daniel, me when I was growing up, we had Tom and Jerry, Scooby Doo. We even had the early morning westerns that were on BBC Two, and they all started early morning. We got up early. Sunday was a kind of the morning that we'd sleep in. But Saturday mornings we did get up early. Now I have to say I don't know now if it's the same situation with kids today, but when I was growing up we did get up early. So, you know, um and in fairness, it's on at eight. It's there from 8 o'clock in the morning. So there's no excuse for people not to watch. You know what I mean? There is no excuses anymore. BBC, as Cinnamon said there, BBC lowered the standards. Is Reacher 3 any good? I haven't seen any of Reacher, to be quite honest with you, Holden. For the first time, it hasn't trended on Flix Patrol. Yaz the Plank, says Bobby D. BBC are disgusting for allowing this. Can't remember the last time I put BBC on, says Holden. Shelley said, I started watching this mech anime called 86, which is similar to the Robot Revolution, but the plot in 86 is very well written than RTD's writing. You nut job, says President Lemon, it's midnight. Of course it is. Yeah, we used to say, we used to do these late night streams sometimes. I just felt like doing one tonight because I'm actually in good form. Spice Girls have a movie? Yeah, Spice Girls the movie. Where have you been? In fairness to you, though, yeah, I think were you even born when Spice Girls the movie, 1997? Let me know. Daniel was 2 when it came out. So there you go. Daniel knows Spice Girls the movie. LOL, I love them, says Cinnamon Toast Crunch. On fairies, I'm the bloke out the deck for a view. No, man. No, I had to have a few drinks, man. Listen, they had to fucking get me on. Like, it took them, seriously, would have nearly missed it. I'm just terrified of them, you know. I saw a recent video of that ferry or the cruise that sunk, and the kids were told to stay. A bunch of kids from I think it was China, and you're on a boat. The captain jumped off the bleeding ship, but he'd given an order that they stay in their room. And one of the kids are actually filming on their phones, and one of the kids actually makes reference, "Oh, this is like Titanic," and they went down with the ship. It's actually very fucking scary. That footage is on YouTube. You can actually watch it. It's sad. Careful not to kill Ted, Noel. Apparently you can't look after him properly, says Cinnamon. Listen, my dog is not overweight anyway, right? He is on healthy food that has been certified by the vet. And if people remember, Ted had a back injury, okay? So Ted was out of action and couldn't walk for a few weeks. So I don't take any notice of people out there that want to go after me dog because they can't get the better of me. So they go after anybody that I love to try get under my skin. But I think that is actually pathetic to go and attack someone's dog. But listen, we've had it before over the years, people going after Ted, and he's still here. He's 11 years of age anyway. He's not getting any younger. He's not a baby like he used to be. He's still my baby, but he's not a baby anymore. You know what I mean? 11. And dogs like his breed are normally gone. Ted is still here, and that's because we've looked after him. So refute that bullshit anyway coming out of that person's mouth in relation to me dog. But imagine going after someone's dog. Like, you have to be a sad person. BBC would never sell it outright. I agree. They're not going to sell their golden goose. What they might do is, if Disney have pulled out, they will look and see if they can get another distributor, maybe, or they'll probably try go it alone, or it will go on that hiatus slash pause, whatever they do. But once RTD is nowhere near it, then I'll be happy. And Spectre hashtag 23 says, rumor is some of the Shield tubers have cameos in a fourth wall breaking scene. Well, all I'll say to you on that one is that there is a lot of that rumor is how do I put this? It's not a rumor. I heard Disney was planning it since RTD was filming the second season and the spin off because they aren't happy with RTD and blaming it on BBC. Look, I know there's a YouTuber out there, whatever his name is, because you've put the links in before. I've never heard of him up until this season. I've never heard of that fella. And I would have to say, listen, I think a lot of people in the chat will agree with me. There's no way Disney is buying Doctor Who straight out. It's not happening. There's too many moving parts. You have to pay off estates as well, and make deals with the estates of certain, like, for example, Terry Nation's estate, they'd have to start making separate deals and all of this. Not happening. It's not happening, in my opinion. Tell that to the creator of Line of Duty. Those folks would be laughed at. Would be laughed at. That's what I mean. Line of Duty's done well. I'm 2002, mate. So yeah, you weren't born. So yeah, Spice Girls do have a movie. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's not groundbreaking, but if you like Spice Girls music, and the Spice Girls were hot property back in the day. They were probably the biggest girl band around at the time. So, if you like their music, then you can't go wrong with the movie. It's a movie for Spice Girls fans, really. They're garmless. Who gives dogs grief? Exactly, Cinnamon. The BBC may not sell Doctor Who, but they could let others make it under license. Says, yeah, that's what I reckon would happen. That would be the logical thing for the BBC to do. To sell it outright would be absolute stupidity, in my opinion. So that's where I stand on that. Disney wouldn't know what they had or what to do with it, as well as another thing. Yeah, I wouldn't listen. Why sell a British IP to Americans? It's not going to end well. They'd start making unnecessary changes for the sake of it. Shelley says that the YouTuber in question was the one who force leaked RTD is leaving after season 2 last year. It was also a rumor on Reddit last year, because I think we actually spoke about that rumor. Again, I wouldn't take any credence in Disney trying to buy Doctor Who. There's no way it's going to happen. In my opinion, they just why would BBC, again? You've got to look at this logically. Why would BBC sell their one of their top 5 IPs to Disney? I don't see it happening personally myself. And I haven't been told that about it. And I'm pretty sure the other people that do this haven't been told this either. So, as I said, I don't think it's going to happen. If they did, it's all look. even if the by some miracle happened, yeah, well then you're not getting Doctor Who. You'll never get Doctor Who again. It won't be Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who's a British IP. It must stay a British IP because it must have that Britishness to it. Simple as that. If you start Americanizing Doctor Who, then it's not going to work. Just like Torchwood, didn't work when it moved to America for the fourth season. Look how shite that turned out. A lot of these shows that are Americanized, some work, some don't. Doctor Who wouldn't work under an American brand. In fairness, I get what you're saying about Amazon. What I would like to happen is for the show to go on hiatus or to go on a pause, to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't want Amazon either. Look, all of this crap about Doctor Who not making money, right? If BBC did right by the show, they'd make money and they wouldn't have to go cap in hand to any distributor, right? And if Chris Chibnall had done his job properly in the first place, they wouldn't be in this position of having to go to Disney. So I always firmly believe that if BBC do right by it and bring it back to basics, it'll make money. Sure, the classic stuff is still making money for them, right? The classic stuff. And you remember, see, this is a thing as well, right? You heard all of these fans when we were saying it was losing money during the Whittaker era, which it was, because none of the merch for that era was actually selling well. And it was losing money, right? The classic merch was actually keeping it going, right? But now the other side are saying, well, they have to go to distributors now because it's not making money. So were we telling the truth in the first place? See, they contradict themselves all the time. The bottom line, though, is I believe personally that if BBC did right by it, they don't have to go cap in hand to anybody because it would make money. The problem is that the quality of the show over the last few years has dipped incredibly. And with that, you're not going to sell anything. It's as simple as that. What BBC need to be doing is they need to be listening to fans' concerns on why this show has been a failure and rectify the situation. I feel old. I work with somebody at work who's 17. I thought he was the same as me. Well, welcome to the club, because when you end up working with someone younger than you do feel fucking old, don't you? The Americans would give Doctor Who a gun and superpowers, says Robert. Yeah, they'd fundamentally change the Doctor. And I know the last two showrunners have actually done that, but they'd make it worse. I agree. Daniel is hitting the big 3-0 next Saturday, folks. So wish him a happy birthday there. We don't want to embarrass him. I'm not singing you happy birthday till next week, but happy birthday. But look, for me, this is it. I know for other fans it's not, but for me, this has always been an easy fix. You just ignore the gobshites in the fandom that you're listening to, right? Listen to the concerns of the British public and the Doctor Who fans that have been pushed away, and you can fix this show. And all I understand, they are greedy. If it does happen, they should get a British showrunner who's a true fan. Do you think it would work? No. If Disney managed to pull this off, which I doubt, because Disney are under fine. Listen, Disney have lost a lot of money with the latest Snow White movie. It's actually going to make a loss. So ask yourself logically, why would then Disney then go out and try buy Doctor Who IP when they're losing money with Star Wars? They've lost money with the Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs live action movie. And remember, Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, the animation was the one that kind of kicked Disney into gear and started the whole Disney thing, right? And made them successful. They've come out with the live action version and it's not even going to break even, right? They're going to lose money on this. They lost money with the Captain America movie that they did, Brave New World, as well. Right, so they're losing money. So why would they go out and buy? It doesn't make any sense to me personally why they did it, then go out and buy an IP that's in the state that it's in right now because of RTD and the previous showrunner. Right, it's not in a healthy position. If Doctor Who was in a healthy position and Disney were trying to get a hold of it, I don't think BBC would even be looking at Disney, to be quite honest with you. Because why would they? It'd be making money for that for BBC. Merch would be flying off the shelf. They wouldn't have to worry about going cap in hand to anybody. So I just don't see it on any level. And if it does happen, I'd be absolutely shocked, number one, but it'd be the end of Doctor Who. It's done. Forget about it. It'll never be the show that you fell in love with. What if Amazon, who hires the British showrunner? Listen, any distribution deal that's done, they will not have a say on who becomes showrunner. BBC will always have the final say because it's their IP. Now, Amazon may insist, just like Disney did, may insist on certain conditions, right? But it'd still be a BBC IP, and they would get the final say. It would be like if a British Leland bought Mercedes in the 1970s, exactly, or the other way around, says Robert. BBC types aren't going to listen to those who they regard as deplorables. Well, they have to start listening to us fans and start listening to the British audience, because the British audience has firmly rejected this current version of Doctor Who, and they've rejected the previous version of Doctor Who. So, you know, if they want to start making money, they want to start listening to the right people and to the right fans instead of listening to all of these idiots. Daniel says, to be honest, Noel, the longer it gets dragged through the mud, the harder it will be to fix the show and the brand as a whole. Well, the brand is already damaged, and it was damaged with the Timeless Child nonsense, and it hasn't actually fully recovered from that. And you know, if this show ever does get canned or paused, if they do bring it back, in my opinion, they must dismiss what's came before. And I mean all of New Who, and just start afresh. That's what I think they should do. I'm not saying, you know, don't love your New Who up until a certain point, but I think at this rate, they should just ignore the whole lot and start again. Shelley says, okay, Noel, thanks, Noel. Yeah, look, I'm just being honest. This is my opinion on it. You know, in this industry, I will say this, Shell, you never know. But I don't see it happening personally. You know, I don't. It's still a BBC IP. They would have to have the final say. You know what I mean? Robert says, Doctor Who will need to become British size again for a few years before they tout it around for international distribution. And that's what I agree with. And that's what I think should happen. You've got to regain the British public, and you've got to regain the confidence of Doctor Who fans that you're doing right by it. Cinnamon says, I can high kick better than 15. Daniel is leaving us. He's saying, night all, good night. Agreed, Noel. I have to go on the walk with my dad. See ya. No problem. Look after yourself, and thanks for popping in. Really appreciate it. The same to you, Daniel. Thanks for popping in. Doctor Who isn't a 1960s classic mini. It's a 80s Austin Maestro with the rainbow flag painted on it. And nobody wants to buy that, says Robert. Exactly. You know, I was talking about doing something like, you know, if you wanted to kind of bring back all doctors of the New Who era, let's just say, just to give people a taste of what you could do. You could do ministries, lost stories or something like that, just to get the ball rolling again. But they have to do something different with it. And I don't think the 45-minute format works anymore, to be quite honest with you. I think Doctor Who episodes need to be, I would actually go as far as to say, do you remember Sherlock that Moffat did? They were, what, an hour and a half? That's the way Doctor Who should be, in my opinion. Do 8 weeks, hour and a half episode, and you can flesh out a story properly and not have them connected either. Not having them connected either. Do separate stories like you had in the classic era, right? And keep them separate. I know they did, like, during the Tom Baker era, they did do stories that connected and stuff like that. But there were others where they didn't connect stories and they just did singular episodes or singular 20-minute episode, whatever it was, the format back then. That's the way it should be today with New Who, in my opinion. But I don't think BBC would want an hour and a half episode of Doctor Who. That's the thing, but that's the way I think the future lies with Doctor Who. You got to flesh out. If you had a good story, hour and a half, like a little mini movie each week for 8 weeks, or even say 5 weeks, right? I think it'd perform better. Dropping like flies, says Cinnamon. Ha ha ha. I'm nervous that they're gonna ruin Lux as it's the episode I'm looking forward to the most. Yeah, it's the episode that I'm not really because of the cartoon character. I just can't get me head in the frame of mind that should be in Doctor Who. Personally speaking, but we'll see. That 45-minute format is no good if they stretch 20 minutes worth of story into it. Exactly. Episode 2 and 3 interests me the most, says Cinnamon. Minimum 60 minutes, you say. 60 minutes, 8 episodes, 8 hours. You could do 60 minutes, but I don't know. Personally, I'd like them longer, but that's just me. It is personal. It is a personal preference. Yes, story arcs with a massive universe saving finally every year. It is a little repetitive now. Exactly, it's the same shit being same shit every time, isn't it? There's nothing new. This is the thing. Like, there's nothing new really from RTD. I mean, we're going to get another Lux. Is not going to shy away from the racism, right? So I wonder how far RTD will actually go with that. Because Chibs kind of stopped. He didn't go too far with the Rosa Parks thing. Still got the lecture. But how far is RTD willing to go? Because he's very militant. Will he actually go as far as to using the N word in Doctor Who? And don't even rule that out at this stage with the way he's going on. So I want 12 episodes ideally. Yeah, we should get ideally, yeah, maybe 12 episodes in a Christmas special like we used to get back in the old day. But that's when the format worked. I don't think it works as 45 minutes. New companion. Oh, they are so mysterious. Nope, stop it. Yeah, sick of that as well. You're right. Why does the companion have to be something special? Do you know what I mean? They don't have to be something special. They can have their moments, but they're there to complement the Doctor. And the companion is supposed to represent us in the fandom. Because we'd all like to travel in time and space with the Doctor. True, it'll just be online or a full scene of Shooty crying. Oh, well, he'd be definitely crying in the next episode. I mean, he hasn't stopped crying. You never know. You never know. Cinnamon, N word, far too strong to be shown. We've not had fuck on it yet. I don't know, mate. The way things are going, I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. Now I'm going to wrap up now in a minute because I have to bring El Teddy out, and I'm going to do that because he has to go for his little walkies. And there, as soon as I mention walkies, he pipes his head up. So shoot, he keeps tissue company going. Yeah, he does. He should have a box of Kleenex with him in his deep pockets. You know, actually, we haven't seen that with this doctor, have we? Where he's taken a lot of stuff out of his pockets because his pockets are bigger in the inside. Don't think we've had that with Shooty's doctor. I could be wrong, but you know, we do be caught up with all the other stuff that's going on. We kind of probably, you know, don't see these things happening. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this little late night natter. I just wanted to come on anyway and do something for you because it's been a couple of days since we've done a stream. Of course, I will be here over the weekend to do me live reaction to the latest episode, Lux, and then we'll have the panel next week. So look out for that as well. Actually, we should be back, if I'm correct. It's obviously Friday now because we've gone past 12 midnight. But we should be back tonight. We're supposed to have a bit of a panel with the lads. So look out for that. I'll let you know either way. Just check the community wall. And I'll let you know if it's still going ahead. If it's not, then I will see you on Saturday for the live reaction. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment if you just want to. The comment section is there for you as well. I don't want to know what objects Shooty has. Sonic dildos. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty, lads. I know. Oh man, it's bad, isn't it? Anyway, what can you do? Listen, 7 more weeks and then we'll know what the future holds for this shit show that they call Doctor Who. And you know, if there's any justice in the world, at least RTD would be the minimum out on his air, and Bad Wolf Studios out of there as well. Personally speaking, that's what I'd like to see happen. And then for BBC then to, you know, go back to basics. That's what I'd love to see. But we'll see what happens. You know, I don't think it's going to do well anyway. The ratings are awful, and I reckon they'll continue to be awful. So we'll see what happens anyway. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm pretty sure someone will have a problem with some of the things I've said here tonight, but you know, that's just the way it is these days. Come on, 15. Please have a decent episode. Come on. You know, look, in fairness, I would love to see a decent episode. We're long overdue, in my opinion. We got at least one or two from Jodie Whittaker. I mean, she still wasn't great, but you know, as I said, you know, it must be bad if I'm saying I'd rather watch a Jodie Whittaker episode, even though I don't like Jodie as the Doctor. So yeah, let's hope we do get a good episode, and shoot, he can have something to get his teeth into. But if history tells us anything, I don't see it happening really. But you know, fingers crossed. We live in hope, as we always do as Doctor Who fans. We try to stay positive as much as we can. Anyway, I'll talk just for the next one. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, as I said, to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. If there's anything that you heard me say tonight that you'd like to expand on or leave a comment about, go ahead. You're more than welcome to do so. And I'll talk to you for the next one. Have a good one, folks. Good night.